I'm Alex.
And I'm Kirby.
And this is the Real Gamerscore podcast. We are your source for Xbox achievement news, Gamerscore tips, and milestones from Daniel JJ14 and Jimbot UK. This week we talk about Daniel JJ14, Jimbot UK, and milestones. But first, here's the song of the week. The Real Gamerscore podcast is the show for you. We'll tell you stories of video games that you may have played too. Before you rage quit out and leave that game uninstalled. We will talk about some great games, and they might even be on sale. We won't hold you up now. We love video games. We can help you out now. We will lift you up, up, up. We won't hold you up now. We love video games. We can help you out now. We will lift you up, 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 up.
I genuinely don't have a clue. Like, I honestly... That doesn't sound like anything I would have ever listened to in the last 20 years of my life.
Okay. So I had a look at this because I thought you might not actually know who they are or who sings it.
Yeah, just don't tell me now. You can tell me in the break, because...
I'll tell you in the break.
We'll get some listeners abuse me for not knowing. It'd be great.
I had a look. They've got nearly 83 million views on YouTube for this song.
Oh, well, it's definitely popular then, because that's our metric. That's our standard unit of measurement is the YouTube view.
Alright, I'm just having a quick look.
When though? Over how many years?
I would say about 10 years ago. Okay. Something like that. I'm just having a look here. It was featured in a video game. This is actually how I learned about this band. You, according to True Achievements, you have not played this game.
You Do Voodoo.
Who Do You Voodoo?
Yeah.
That's from Dead Island. Have you not played Dead Island?
Not on the Xbox. I played I've dived the remaster. I didn't... Oh, wait, no, I did play it on Xbox. I did. No. Never mind then. On the 360. Yes. I forgot that I played it.
I'll tell you about it when we have a little rest.
Yeah,
what the song is.
Completely lost.
But anyway, if the listeners out there, you will probably get it if you know the song. So hop in the Discord and chat about what you think the song is, or you can get in contact with us on Twitter. So we'll go through all of those throughout the show. But like I said, join us in Discord. You can find the link to join us, discord.io/realgamerscore. So it's just like a chat server. If you don't know what Discord is, we hop in there and there's different channels to talk about different things.
We're always in there. ASL and get off on the right foot.
Yeah, ASL, man. I haven't heard ASL for a long time. But yeah, you can ASL.
I've made that joke before on this, I swear. I probably have. I don't forget what I don't know what I say on this show. I barely remember what we talked about last week.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. I'm not good on the memories, but... you can also join us on Patreon if you would like to do so. So you can find our Patreon page at patreon.com/realgamerscore. We say it every week, but it really it bears saying every week, because if you are someone out there that thinks we do a good job on this show and you're prepared to commit your hard-earned money to us to support our cause and the giveaways that we do, it really does mean a lot. I don't think we ever thought that we would be having people commit money to us every week when we started this podcast.
Yeah, month even. So, I'd love if you did it weekly, but we only get the money monthly. Sorry, Alex.
Yeah, that's why you handle the Patreon stuff.
And you, Mr. Accountant, don't worry about it.
No, financial planning.
Sorry, yes.
But, they're kind of intertwined.
Yeah.
But yes, we do appreciate all the people that support us through Patreon, that have supported us through Patreon, and in the future will join us through Patreon. We've got our random to-do list contest as well. So we're recording, it's the night of the 30th of July. By the next show, we will draw. We'll draw the episode. That's like the 6th That's like the 6th of
Yeah,
August.
yeah, it's plenty of time, isn't it?
So I think that's enough time to get the episode in. So 6th of August night time, Australian time, which is really like the 5th of August, everyone else in the world time, unless you're in Australia or New Zealand or Fiji. Anyway, so get your answers into us. You can send the answer over to the random to-do list on True Achievements. So this month we are giving away a copy of Stranger Things 3.
The game.
Yes, the game, not the DVD
Not
series. Not
somehow
the show.
Netflix stocks. Yeah.
Oh, subpar. Come on, mate. Have you watched it?
No, what? I said Netflix stocks.
I thought you said subpar Netflix stocks. Anyway.
No. Not... I don't know what I said anymore. See, look, it's been like 10 seconds since I said that. I've already forgotten.
Yes. So, yeah, Stranger Things 3 is the random to-do list giveaway this month. Send that answer over to random to-do list on True Achievements to get your answer in.
What question?
Yes.
What answer?
I'm getting to that. Alright, I'll go to it now. You have to name another game with the word stranger in the title. So, obviously not Stranger Things 3. I think there's, one other game?
There's one other release game that has a stack. Surprisingly, no one has sent me the stack. So no one sent me the game name, and then in brackets, Xbox 360. They've all chosen the Xbox One version. Whatever.
So yes, you need to send the answer to that trivia question and also have it unlocked at least one achievement in the random to-do list. If you want to get a list for random to-do list, send a private message to Kirby, aka ChinDocta, on Discord or on True Achievements, or to the Real Gamerscore account on True Achievements. So lots of ways you can get in on that even if you're not in Discord.
Yeah, and we haven't given it much fanfare, but well, not yet. We may do it in the intro that we haven't recorded yet, and it will sound good. But this is our 50-second episode. This is the end of season 1. This is the last time you will hear our voices just like this. Next year they'll be slightly different, a week older.
Yeah.
It's really surreal to think that a year ago, and I don't know how we managed to end up pretty much bang on a year, because first week of August I think was episode 1. We've managed to, with the first episode of season 2 will be the first week of August. I don't know how we managed to sync that up, because I know we stuffed around Christmas and New Year's and time because people were away and stuff. I don't know how we managed to have that sync up, but it's ridiculous to me to think that people would still want to listen to us after 52 episodes, after a year of dealing with our crap and our nonsense, and people still want to hear it.
I think it's pretty cool. I think that there are other shows around that do what we do. They've got more people hanging around, and that's all well and good. But I think that in our community, I think we have a really close knit, kind of friendly atmosphere, especially in the Discord. Everyone kind of knows everyone. Everyone pretty much gets along with everyone, and you'll be like, hey, I've seen you around in the Discord. I saw you've played this. Let's just go and play some games. And it's pretty chill. It's pretty cool. So I guess another little plug for Discord there. We love it.
It's a great community we've managed to round up.
Yes.
Yeah. Really amazing. Anyway, enough sob stories. What have we got for news?
Oh, before we go into that, we'll just remind everyone we're going to be making some changes for Season 2. We didn't manage to get into a party despite saying we would get into one last weekend. So we will
likely
do that this weekend.
Yeah, first episode of Season 2 is probably going to be pretty similar. Like there are the minor things that we can tweak that you'll notice first, but the majority of the content will be similar. After that is likely when things will change up somewhat drastically.
Yes. So if you have any advanced suggestions you'd like to get through to us, send them as a private message on True Achievements or Discord. But I think we're going to hopefully try and get the survey up this weekend so you can have your say about what you like.
Didn't do it last weekend like we wanted to either.
Yeah. That's the thing. We're playing video games and you get sidetracked and, you need to bloody play Dead Island Retro Revenge for 10 hours and, anyway, time gets away.
Yeah.
All right, so like I said, get in touch with us if you want to, provide any feedback or any suggestions for season 2. But you can also do that in the survey that's coming. In the news, not really a whole lot that caught my eye in the news this week, but couldn't go past this first one. So I just want to put it out there before we get started on this. I'm not a hater of Bethesda.
I am.
It's actually quite the opposite. You are? Okay.
Oh,
right, cool.
Hate is really a strong. I just don't care for what they do, really.
Yeah, that's fine. Each their own. For me, Bethesda are responsible for a lot of games that I really, really like. The Doom series, the Wolfenstein series. I suppose if Quake makes a comeback, they'll harbour that as well. But they make a lot of games that I really do like. Having said that, I saw someone talking throughout the week that says, at the moment, anytime Bethesda do something wrong, it's kind of amplified because everyone's, having a go at Bethesda. So this week,
the critical eye is on them at the moment. So any blunders they make is magnified for sure.
Yeah, and I think that ultimately that will mean that they do a better job of releasing things. It's just not happening in the short term.
Yeah.
I think it has to, because if they keep releasing a mess like Fallout 76 over and over again, it's gonna make people really irritated.
Well, without going too much into it, they have not with.
I know.
We're about to talk about with Youngblood.
Yeah. Well, I haven't heard much about Youngblood, but
it's. I mean, it's.
Don't tell me it's cooked.
It's quite live servicey. It's sort of. It feels like a offline Anthem or an offline Destiny. Is it
an open world game?
No, but it's you have quests to do, and you go to the quest, and you sort of walk through the same 4 or 5 areas to get to the quest area, and it's the same enemies in the areas, except their level number is bigger and your level number is bigger, so nothing really changes, except they can take a bit more damage before they die. Like it's not very Wolfenstein-y, to be perfectly honest. The sort of
That's a shame.
The well-designed levels that you expect in a Wolfenstein game aren't really there, because it was made with the idea of sort of live services and quests that may not, like, that sort of evolve, and there's weeklies and dailies as well in regards to the quests. So quests you do every day, quests you do every week. So you can't really have a level tailored to that quest if you're only going to use it once. You know what I mean? So everything feels very generic.
Well, that's a shame.
It is.
Always look forward to Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein's probably the closest I would get. Wolfenstein and Doom, I would buy sight unseen.
And apparently there's very little narrative story. Because of the focus on co-op.
Like that in the old Wolfenstein 3D days.
Yeah, but so is Doom.
Exactly.
Like, there's no story there.
There's not that much story. There's a bit of story in the new Doom game.
There's a lot more story in the recent Wolfenstein games. This one, because so much focus is on the co-op, and you can drop in and drop out wherever, it's harder to have a proper narrative. They chose not to have a proper narrative story, because you get someone drop in after 10 hours and they don't know what is going on with your story. Because, or whatever. But that's not what we're supposed to be talking about right now.
Well, we're talking about Bethesda in general. Yeah. So the story broke a couple of days ago that Doom, the original Doom game from the early 90s, and Doom 2, also from the early 90s, and also Doom 3 from 2004 got remastered for the... Was it remastered or just re-released?
Just
couldn't really tell.
Re-released on modern consoles with a few tweaks to improve. Now, they did announce this at DoomCon, or whatever they're calling it, the little part of QuakeCon. So it was a relatively big announcement to people that cared about it, but it wasn't publicized well. Like outside of
I didn't know, and I'm a huge Doom fan.
Outside of that little, whatever stadium of people, it wasn't very well publicized. It just appeared and was there,
Year of Doom at QuakeCon.
Yeah, okay. Exactly.
I thought QuakeCon was in August. All right, so apparently it's just happened a couple of days ago.
Yeah, which is where they announce this and announce these re-releases happening and dropping the titles.
So Doom 2 and Doom 3 got re-released, and a lot of people... I first noticed that on the articles on True Achievements where they were talking about the Doom and Doom 2 achievement lists. But apparently they've had some re-release issues. There's multiplayer achievements in both games, but the multiplayer is grayed out in the menu. You can't actually enter it. And also there's a requirement, now this part is not 100% clear to me, but there's a requirement to have a Bethesda account to actually play the games.
Yeah, so to get into the game themselves, you have to connect your Bethesda Net account. And so you have to have a Bethesda Net account. It's essentially a piece of DRM that they've put in just to verify that you actually own the game, I guess. I don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't have any multiplayer. At all.
There were multiplayer achievements.
No, there's co-op achievements. There's no online co-op. That was removed from the game. I mean, people have completed the first Doom, and the achievements missing on Doom 2 and 3 are not ones that...
No, there's multiplayer. There's an achievement called Rookie, get 25 kills in Deathmatch.
There's multiplayer, it's only local. So it'd be against bots. There's no online, that's all.
Well, why were they talking about the multiplayer part being grayed out in the menu? I saw people talking about that.
No, works now.
Well, they must have done a hotfix for it because it wasn't when I saw the achievement lists drop. Anyway, aside from that, apparently people are not so convinced that the having to have a Bethesda account was a mistake, which I guess it depends which side of the fence you sit on. It looks a lot like DRM. It smells a lot like DRM.
But it's not DRM.
Yeah, it's not DRM if you ask Bethesda.
Funnily enough, Youngblood also has that requirement if you want to do the online co-op. So if you want to play an online co-op, you need to then attach your Bethesda account. And also, if you want to have access to your Deluxe Edition perks, you need to have a Bethesda account.
You want to have the things that you paid for.
Yeah.
That stinks. Okay. Anyway, so just a little misstep apparently from Bethesda here. They'll do what they always do. They fix things. Yep. All right. Let's move on to the next story.
They've removed online multiplayer. The other thing that happened though was that, and I'm sure it was related, but not directly because of the re-releases. The Doom 1 and 2 on the 360 got delisted and removed from ready to install. I like to give them the benefit of the doubt here, in that by publishing this new version of Doom, something went wrong with like the naming. I assume Bethesda fat-fingered something and the naming conventions were poor, and by listing this, it automatically pulled the other version. Presumably because they named it the same thing or something like that, where they didn't intend to pull it, but because they pushed this live, that brought the other one down. I don't know that for sure. I mean, they're kind of separate storefronts, the Xbox One and the 360 marketplace, but I would like to give them the benefit of the doubt there. I don't think that was intentional or malicious in that way. I think that happened and they were focused on making sure that the new versions were fine-ish before they worried about getting the old ones back up after it happened.
Well, I guess we'll see. You know, if the old 360 versions come back up, you know, you're right. But you could look at it and say they delisted the 360 ones so that you would be forced to buy the game again. I don't know if I believe that, but I guess you could look at it that way. I had a look the other day when it dropped on my Xbox. To play the game again, I'd have to pay for it. So there's no like incentive for people that have previously bought it. You know, like some games come out, they do a re-release, and you get it for
half price
instead of $20
or you just get it
free or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, they're reasonably cheap as is. Doom 1 and 2 are
$7.50 Australian.
$5 each, and Doom 3's $10. It's just kind of... It feels like an odd move.
Yeah, but I think they're probably going to re-release these games
on the 50th anniversary as well.
Yep. It's one of those things. People want to play these games. Alright, next one here. Something that I've been interested in, I guess rumours have been swirling about this one for a couple of weeks. Remedy, the people that made Alan Wake. Everyone will probably know that they acquired the rights back to publish Alan Wake, but was it publish?
Yeah, so they reacquired the publishing rights.
So that they can publish it on other consoles. But in an interview with IGN, Sam Lake, who's the big dog, said that they're interested in making an Alan Wake. And I guess this article is one of those ones that's kind of not really an article. They've taken like 2 quotes and made it into an article. But it's one of those things that fans of Alan Wake like me will be like, oh, you know, they said Alan Wake sequel, you know, it's exciting. Apparently they've tried to make a sequel but didn't feel like it lived up to it. So they kind of scrapped it. But they're interested in doing an Alan Wake sequel, which, you know, I was disappointed by American Nightmare, which wasn't really a sequel, but when you put the name Alan Wake on something, I don't know. You kind of get people's hopes up.
It played similarly. The gameplay-wise, it played similarly.
Yes, it did. It also focused on one of the weaker aspects of the game, the combat. The combat is serviceable, and the reason it works in Alan Wake is because you're not doing it constantly.
Yeah, you're running away more than you are. It's very survival horror-y versus action horror.
Yeah. Obviously the strength in Alan Wake is the storytelling. But if they were to go on and make a sequel to it, it'd be the first game I pre-order at full price since... I didn't even pre-order Doom at full price. Must be Deus Ex Mankind Divided, which I think was, 2015, 2016? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's essentially said the stars need to align for it to happen, because, you know, they don't just get to decide, okay, we're making this game now, we're going to do it. Like, it doesn't just work like that.
No.
So,
and I always wonder about these things and how they work, because every time there's an Alan Wake article, you can go to the comments and go, I love this game, yes, make it happen, and there's hundreds of comments. You go, maybe not every person buys it. Maybe not every person buys it at release, but there are people that are interested in it, and you just don't see people saying, oh, why would you do this? You know, I'm just looking here at the comments. I think I speak for everyone when I say bring it on. Alan Wake was a game that came on my first Xbox, loved it. It needs to happen for real. This is what you see every time. So
yeah,
I wonder...
I wouldn't particularly care for a sequel. I don't feel the need to go in and say I don't want a sequel.
Yes, but True Achievements has that kind of person.
Yeah,
but I don't want a sequel.
The vocal minority who both say that they want a sequel and the ones that don't, it's the indifferent majority who wouldn't buy it but don't really care either way. That's... I mean, that's...
But even if you get some of them, I just wonder what metrics Microsoft or whoever holds the rights to make the making of it, what metrics they measure on the decision to commit. You know, maybe it's the publisher that commits the money to back a studio to make a game. What do they measure it on? And
sales.
Sales.
Honestly,
but it's
sales.
Like sales. That game came out in 2011, 12.
Yeah, and didn't do great.
Something like that. No, it didn't. It didn't do great. but from what I've read about it, it did okay. And it's like, I would hope that, Microsoft's going around buying all these studios. Could you imagine if they gave Alan Wake to one of those studios? Now, I'm not saying I think it's going to happen, because I don't think it's ever going to happen. But they're buying up studios to get these games out. It would obviously be an exclusive to Xbox.
Who would you give it to, though? I can only think of one studio that I think would be in the right vein to get it. Who do you think would get it?
Well, I don't know. Maybe the initiative would be... I don't think they've got enough people there yet, because I think they're still hiring. But
I don't know anything about
the people
them
that
yet,
have come across to initiative, they're the ones that got the Rockstar storyteller over to the studio.
Yeah.
I think that there'd probably be more than one studio that was capable of it, but I think
Ninja Theory are the only ones who...
Ninja Theory,
I think they're the only ones who would have a chance of making it moderately successful. I don't think... just from the types of games that the other developers have done, I don't think it fits with them. Like, I think it only fits with Ninja Theory to me.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd have to have a closer look at the other
Coalition
studios.
got it?
No.
You'd get
Do not
American
give it to the
Nightmare
Coalition.
2. That's what you wanted, right? Alan Wake American Nightmare 2, right?
With chainsaws on the end of your flashlight, yep.
That's what everyone wanted. That's what people are clamoring for. A sequel to Alan Wake American Nightmare.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, enough gushing over Alan Wake, but another story here. So it's pretty obvious to say that neither you nor me are that interested in Fortnite, but the Fortnite World Cup was on this week, and a young lad, 16-year-old lad, has won the World Cup of Fortnite and
for solos.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's come away with $4.3 million in Australian terms.
Okay.
By himself. So I was reading, I think it was on Twitter, someone was talking about it, and they were like, "Oh man, what did you do this holidays?" "Oh, hung out with my friends at the shopping centre, and we saw a couple of movies." "What'd you do?" "Oh, we played some footy." "What'd you do?" "Oh, won $4.3 million playing Fortnite." It's just pretty funny.
Yeah, he is signed to a pro team, just as a... So he's not like some random who's come along and won it. He's a professional esports player who's come and done this. He plays for a Fortnite team. Not taking anything away from it, but just wanted to make sure people were aware it wasn't just some random 16-year-old off the streets that's come in and swept the competition like it's a big, exciting story in that sense. The whole point of the story is to kind of be like, look at how legitimate we are now. That's
exactly where I wanted to go with it too.
Because we have given away lots of prize money, we're legitimate. I think that's essentially what the story is saying, because they compared it to Wimbledon. Tiger Woods got less than that for winning at the Masters, that sort of stuff. But there's also one World Cup. You've had one prize of $3 million for this kid.
Yeah, apparently they handed out 30 million
total,
all prizes. But yeah, so I think it does kind of bring some sort of legitimacy to it. I mean, it's like being a professional athlete. Not everyone is going to be able to do it. There's going to be kids that are talking it in primary school going, "Oh man, look at that guy. He won millions of dollars playing Fortnite. I can do that too." It's like, the reality is, chances are it's not going to happen for you. It's a very small percentage of the population that can get there.
Yeah.
But I think it also shows that if you do have talent and you do commit the time to honing your skills the way you were if you're a footy or soccer player or something, that you do have the potential to make a living off professionally playing video games.
Yep. For me, this kind of big one-off thing, it's nothing. Like, Dota has been doing stuff for years. Yeah. That feels like a more legitimate esport to me, purely because of, I can't think of the word. Just longevity, I guess, is the best word I can think of right now. It hasn't faded out so much. Like, it not that Fortnite has, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's still here. It's still having tournaments. It's still having reasonably big prize pools. Up until this one, I think Dota 2 had a tournament, like, was in the spot of having the biggest prize pool for its tournaments, for a single tournament.
They're 5-on-5s, aren't they?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Why not?
But I guess, I agree with you. I think Dota is probably more viable as a career, but...
I'm not even talking about as a career. I'm just, like, if this is still happening in 3 or 4 years' time, then yes, I would consider Fortnite to be a more legitimate esport. As it is, I mean, there's probably been tournaments before, but nothing of this scale. And other esports do have things regularly at this scale.
I think that where I'm going with this is, I think, if you have your Dotas, you have your Counter-Strikes, there are, smaller ones, even like old school Doom and Quake have their old ones. But Rocket League was going to be where I was going with this. I've actually Googled the RLCS
season
prize
7
pool breakdown. Yeah.
So
I'll get to that in a minute. But I think that, you got Dota, you got Counter-Strike, you got Fortnite now, you've got Rocket League. I think that there's going to be more that come along. And, I think that's pretty normal with people wanting to watch different things. Let me ask you this, if you could go to like a cinema or an esports viewing venue, would you go and watch an esports event?
Yeah, if it's an esport I'm interested in, if it's Overwatch or Rocket League, yes, I wouldn't go to watch Fortnite, I wouldn't go to watch Dota, I wouldn't go to watch CSGO, purely because those games don't interest me. Having played Overwatch, having played Rocket League, I can appreciate the skill a lot. I feel like a lot more than maybe someone who hasn't played it, and so I enjoy it more, knowing, sort of having an understanding of what they're doing and why it was really cool, as opposed to, that was just really cool to look at, I'm enjoying it.
I would go and watch it. Actually, I think that there's, whether it's like a Hoyts cinema or a Hoyts esports viewing cinema, I think it's in New South Wales, Australia. I would go there to watch something if I lived in New South Wales. But I'd consider going up there like for RLCS.
Yeah.
Having said that, I've got the prize pool breakdown here. So Rocket League's $1 million prize pool breakdown for the season, number 6. The World Championship was for $500,000 worth. Hello, my dog's here. First place wins $200,000, second $120,000, third $60,000. So you're obviously talking about much different in the way of figures. But I think you're also talking about much less in the way of people that play and watch the game.
The other thing is, this prize money is probably not from sponsors. It's probably mostly just out of Epic's pocket. So
yeah, well, they say on their crate screen, buying keys contributes to these.
Not to take away from anything that Fortnite's done, but it's, when you've got a rich person who just wants to have an event with a gigantic prize pool, it says a little bit less to me than, for example, Rocket League having the $1 million prize pool because it's worked its way up to that point. Like, it's...
Yeah.
I'm trying to say this without saying Fortnite is crap, because it's not. It has its spot in gaming history, and rightfully so. It's just, I feel like we just need to take a step back and look at this a little bit from a different perspective.
Do you think that they'll have a World Cup of Fortnite in 12 to 24 months' time? I don't know what the going rate is for esport World Cups. But do you think there'll be another one?
I mean, Overwatch has it every year, I think. Look, I assume so. We'll see what the turnout is like, because apparently they claimed 40 million people tried to get a slot in the final, so 40 million people tried out. I mean, whether that actually means anyone who plays during this time period may be chosen to go to the World Cups if you do really well, or I've applied and I'm entering tournaments to qualify. I don't know. They don't specify. I tend to think it's probably more just during this week, if you play Fortnite and do really well, you could get chosen to go into a qualifying tournament. And so everyone who played counted as someone who tried out. Just from hearing that line, that's what it sounds like to me.
I do wonder. I mean, it's still the most popular game.
Yeah.
In the world, so there's going to be. I'm surprised it's only 40 million, to be honest.
It is on the decline.
Yeah, I know, but
so the ending for season 9, they have apparently in all their seasons they have like a finale thing for their seasons of Fortnite. This was the lowest viewed one out of all of them. And it was essentially a Voltron mech warrior fighting a kaiju. So that kind of feels like something really cool.
I don't really know what you just said in terms of Fortnite.
Like a giant mech warrior fighting a Godzilla. Giant monster. It's not Godzilla, though.
Have you seen Godzilla 2, by the way?
No.
The one that came out this year?
No. He fights other kaiju in that one.
Yes. Godzilla, there's a point in the movie where he just stands up in the middle of the ocean, like he can walk on water. Anyway, it's neither here nor there.
Right. Nice anecdote. I loved it.
Sure.
But yeah, so it was the lowest viewed season ending of all of them.
I'm not surprised. It's gonna continue on the decline, but I think it'll get to a point.
The fact that it was lower than season 1, though. Like, it was lower than any of their other seasons. I think that it's still very clearly number 1 on Twitch, but I think their viewership has dropped 30% or so, off the top of my head. Which is a significant amount when you're talking, say, 1 billion viewers a month, to drop down to 700 million. It's a significant amount of people who are no longer watching.
Still a whole lot of people that are watching and playing.
Yeah,
but I think it's just like anything. It's one of those things that it's... Even though they change the guns, and they change the maps around a little bit, and they change functionality here and there a little bit, it's essentially the same thing over and over again. I do believe that one day Fortnite will cease to exist, but I also don't think that's going to be for a long time.
No, yeah.
Unless they release like a Fortnite 2 or something.
Well, now it's in their head, so...
But the thing is, the thing that Fortnite did well, I think, is to get their popularity was the same thing that the Nintendo Wii did to get their popularity. They got the casual people in a lot. You know, I have a guy...
Casual, not as an offensive term here.
No, like people that don't
the everyday
play
gamer.
Video games as much. You know, they might hear about they're sitting at their work desk and someone's talking about Fortnite, and it's like, oh, I've heard about this Fortnite. What is it? And they go home to the Xbox that's gathering dust, and they go, I'm going to try and get this Fortnite.
Not the type of person who would listen to this podcast.
Yeah, not necessarily. But if you do listen to this podcast, welcome, and we appreciate your listenership.
Tell us how many Fortnite Royales you've got.
Yeah.
Is it chicken
Come
dinner?
in the Discord and tell us how many you've got.
Victory Royale, that's it.
There's a guy that I work with that plays football, Australian rules football, for those overseas listeners. He plays in that team at quite a high level. And when I started working there, he was talking about playing Fortnite with his best friend. They were both online, playing it with headsets and everything. And I'm just like, really? Like, I didn't expect you to be talking about video games. So I think that the popularity maybe is a lot to do with the more casual gamers coming on, trying out, trying to get good at it for a little while and go, okay, I've got other things to do as well. Now, this guy at work doesn't play it anymore, but he was playing it for probably 6 months. which doesn't sound like that long in terms of Fortnite, but he was playing it for a while.
They also very skillfully captured that younger audience.
Oh, yeah.
So the ones that will grow up playing this game and then are likely to stick around. They've done well for themselves. I feel like a lot of the news we hear about is Epic throwing money at something to make it sound really important on a global level. You know.
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of a big deal. I don't want to be that guy that wishes against things, but I am not a Fortnite fan. But if people want to play it, then good luck to them. God bless you. All right, we'll leave it there on Fortnite. Otherwise, we'll talk for another half an hour about it. But do you want to run us through the Great True Achievement Score Challenge Roundup?
Yep. So we have just finished period 4.
I'll check that while you
we
run
definitely
through
just
everything.
finished period 4. So we had on the solo... Well, we have the new bonus for period 5. I should mention that before we get started. The period 5 bonus is for the solo side, so it's only for the solo players, and that is to end the scoring period with a gamer score evenly divisible by 2019. So the gamer score you earn in this week up to the cutoff needs to be a multiple of 2019. So 2019, 4,038, whatever 4,038 plus 2019 is, 6,057.
Yeah, okay, sure. I don't think that's right, but sure.
Yeah, that's right. 6,057, 8,076.
All right, good. You're good at maths. All right, we get it. You're
Oh, what is it? 10,095, I think, is the common one people want to go for because you don't need an odd gamer score achievement.
All I'll say is when Planting runs this competition next year, it's going to be real good with those bonuses.
It's
2020.
Give me all hands on deck for that one. It'll be easy mode. He'll just remove this bonus and be like, party like it's last year. And get it.
Oh, no.
Something
No, Planting, don't do that.
Party like it's 1999.
Oh, dear.
There we go.
Alright, well, who's high and who's low?
So, on the solo side, the cutoff was 220 true achievement difference, so still relatively low into 4 weeks into the season. Our low solo player was Cavaliers07, who had 293 true achievement difference, so only 73 above cutoff. Our solo high was Secular Forever in first place with 18,828 true achievement difference. My God.
Secular Forever is a very high scorer.
That's nonsensical. That's more gamer score than I got, and that was true achievement difference. Actually, although, in saying that, he may not have gotten like 18,000. Never mind. We didn't have any, at least on Friends of the account, Friends of the Real Gamer Score, didn't have any solo knockouts. So no one on solo team got eliminated. No one on team got eliminated either. So good on them. Speaking of team, the team cutoff was 1,516 true achievement difference. Our low team was Team Enigma Gamer 77, who are Dean Helsley, Enigma Gamer 77, and Disobeyed Knight. I believe that's probably a random team, given the name of the team. They were at 1,562 true achievement difference, so just 46 above the drop. Our team high was Is This Team Leapfrog, which is Jimbot UK, Daniel JJ, and Infamous, who were in third spot with 25,140 true achievement difference.
Yeah. Jimbot and Daniel get a lot of mentions later in the show. Jeez, they were going off.
Yeah, they were doing ridiculously well.
Yeah, yeah. I think they've won a G-Task before.
Yeah, they won the team side 2 years ago.
Yeah, they are very hectic gamers.
It was funny because I was in that team and then I was like, oh, nah, I don't think I can be serious. I'm just going to play chill with my friends and swap to the Urban Spaceman's team with Montana and Sea Monkey Powder. And then they won. I'm like, oh, might have had a nice little hoodie if I stayed. But, yeah. Also, wouldn't have been able to handle the pressure.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, out of me and you, I think you'd be far better equipped to do it.
I think back then I probably would have survived. If I had to do that now, no, I can't do it now.
Yeah. I think if I win the $25 million in the Tats Lotto tonight, actually, I might make it one of my life goals, my bucket lists, to
win a G-Task.
Yeah, I'd do. If I was going to win G-Task, I would preload for 5 years.
And still lose to Redemption in his 1 year preload?
No, mate. No. 5 years worth. 5 years worth. Preload, say 1.5 million.
What's your ideal team size? Because team size is kind of the important one. Not taking away from solo, but that was kind of the classic G-Task event.
G-Task, I like G-Task team over solo any day. But I think if you preload that much, you're probably good. If you have preloads of 1 million to start with, that's only to get you through.
It's only 200,000 from 5 other people.
Yeah,
5-man
you got
teams.
2 chances. You win solo or you win. Anyway, look, I'm not a hoodie collector like Redemption tonight. I think he's got 3 at this point. Yeah, what a maniac.
I think it's 4 with 3 in a row.
Is it?
I feel like, at least on solo. I don't know if solo gets jumper.
You know what it'd be like? It'd be like you're walking down the street and you're wearing a hoodie, and people are like, "Oh, okay, he's wearing a hoodie," and then someone who knows him would see it and they'd be like, "Oh my god, you're Redemption tonight!" It'd just be like. Anyway, that'll be what I do.
That would require Redemption tonight to walk down a street. I think he goes to work, gets food, goes home. I don't think he walks down streets casually. He just wears his hoodie over a chair to fake some Connect action.
I've seen he's posted pictures of his hoodies in some places. Actually,
he does. They're pretty cool.
And I think if you ask, he'll probably show you anyway. But all right, well, that's enough for the G-Task. So we are in period 5 currently, as you said.
Okay, so normally we'd have a review here, and we'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna throw to Peru and Mighty Mango for their review of Etherborn." Unfortunately, there's been some scheduling issues with Peru, so the review won't be recorded till 24 hours after you're hearing this, or at least I probably won't get the audio till about 24 hours after you're hearing this. So it's going to be on next week's show. Hooray!
We'll get 2 next week.
Yeah,
so
not a big deal. Not the end of the world. These things happen. We live. We move on. We don't hurt other people. Keep your hands to yourself. When's the last time you thought about Jesus? Just saying.
All right, now Kirby's going to have a quick chat with us about what he's been playing this week.
Yeah, because it was just the 2 of us, and I noticed you were a little bit.
Just the 2 of us. We can make it if we try.
That's more familiar than your other song.
No.
It is.
No.
Yeah,
I'll
so
check YouTube views while you tell people what you've been playing.
YouTube metric unit of measurement. Yeah, because yours was kind of a little bit lacking because you haven't done too much since it's just been hours and hours of one game. I padded mine out a lot. So because I got my full combo in the random to-do list before last week's show, I was really at a loss for what to play in this upcoming week. I had originally planned not to do any of my super easy Radalikas and my Artifacts Monday stuff because they were going to be in my random to-do list pool, and I was going to get a quick, really stupid easy, quick 200 point full combo next month, and then have the rest of the month just play whatever I want. Somehow get negative ratios to bring the total score down to 200 or something, but I've since changed my plans, and so I've pulled all those out now, so I'll probably be playing them in the next week or so during my downtime, but I had still a reasonably productive week, though. I started off playing American Ninja Warrior Challenge, as it's not going to be Game of the Year 2019, I'm sorry. It's
Oh, you went the early crow on that one.
I'm really looking forward to that. Look, and it's not a bad game. The walkthrough on True Achievements is awesome. It's great. You should absolutely use that as even just a general guideline of how to level up your character and min-max the stats, essentially. So if you've ever seen any of the Ninja Warriors, Japanese, Australian, American, whatever, this game is pretty much that, but as a quick time event simulator. So you run up to an obstacle, you do a series of button presses to get through the obstacle, you continue on to the next obstacle. Some of them are easier to get through, some of them are harder. Sometimes the buttons don't show up, the button prompts. That's probably not because they were hard, it's probably because the game was broken. But I mean, the achievements were relatively simple. Especially with the walkthrough now, the ratios should come down. I think the game's sitting at like 2000 TA, but it took me like 3 hours to get through, 3 or 4 hours maybe. Is relatively easy. I essentially, because you go through qualifying to get to the Nationals, and you have to get to the Nationals 5 times, and your career has 5 years, so you can get all that done in a career. And I'd won the competition by year 2. So I defeated the hard bits of the Ninja Warrior, so I was just kind of making my character leveled up and skipping the events to get to Nationals. It's really quite simple. I finished...
Is it enjoyable?
I had a good time while I played it, but I didn't have fun, if that makes sense. Like, I wasn't kind of like, yeah, this is awesome, but I don't regret the time I spent in the game.
Okay.
Yeah. So for a good discount, I'd say people should get it. Or, a relatively mindless completion. It's, it's a little bit different to your normal game, so there's that, but it's not a top 10 for the year. I finished off Quantum Break after getting about halfway through Act 5 for my random to-do list achievement. Did it all in one playthrough because I started on hard, and I was really not looking forward to this final boss fight because I'd heard all these stories of how the difficulty jumps up and he's really tough to deal with and all this stuff. But
I struggled with him actually when I played it, just to work out the patterns. I just found it really tricky.
Yeah.
As well, so I agree with you there.
And because I'd struggled with some of the shooty bits earlier in the game, so some of the, like in the garage, the underground parking lot, whatever, I struggled in that bit. I died a couple of times and had to play through that. So I was like, I'm going to spend hours on this and die, and then eventually get it. But I was just like, I'm not looking forward to this slaughter fest that's going to happen. No, 3 attempts, got it on my 3rd go. I felt like it was the easiest part of the game, to be honest. I don't know.
The boss was the easiest part of the game.
It was way easier than some of the fights I had earlier. I don't know why, just didn't find it difficult. It helped that so there's 2 waves of enemies. There's your first wave of sort of the enemies that also have time powers, and then you shoot the boss after he's done his big explosion. And then there's another wave of enemies of mixed little guys, time power guys, and one heavy guy, one big guy. The big guy got stuck on a piece of furniture, so he didn't shoot me or anything. He just sort of stood there and took my gun to his face until he died. So, like, everyone else goes down in a normal amount of bullets. He's the only one that acts like a sponge. So, once he got stuck and didn't do anything, it was really pretty easy. I just killed him and then ran around avoiding the big explosions and took down the boss.
What do you think about bosses or enemies in games that respawn enemies? Because for me, it's a real pet peeve, and I think a lot of bosses do it, but there are also enemies like the Archvile in Doom, which I think is confirmed as making a comeback in Doom Eternal.
Yeah, that enemy we all know. That one. The Archvile. I'm sorry, is that an archway made of vials and just enemies spawn from it? Is that what you're explaining to me? It's an arch of vials? Have you missed the of word in there?
That's bad. It's called an Archvile. It brings enemies back to life, so, right after you kill them, it comes back to life. It's very irritating.
that tends to be what happens when they come back to life. They don't typically do that before they die.
You're being very good with the jokes right now, Chin, and also not answering my question.
No, it's not my favourite thing in the world, but it's such a tried and true boss mechanic, I guess. I have less issue if it's part of a pattern or systematic, and sort of I can know that 3 enemies are coming now, so I know I have to defeat them and then move on to the boss again. Or if it just sort of is spawning in randomly, that annoys me. If it's a consistent stream, like every 10 seconds a new enemy will join, that's fine. But random spawning and stuff annoys me more than like a pattern or something like that. So this boss fight, there were no issues because I knew it was always 4 enemies that could use their time powers, then shooting at the boss, and then 2 time powers, 2 skinnies, and the heavy, always. And so, like, it was always going to be that, and so I felt I could improve because I knew it was coming. I knew where to position myself to have a better chance of moving on.
Yeah, I think I remember fighting him, getting the positioning right for where the explosions would go off and where the enemies would come was crucial to winning that fight.
Yeah. Still, 3 tries. I did have to go back and get 1 Chronon source because I missed that, but easy enough, and then redo the junctions with the alternate decision. But no, all in all, a pretty good game, and really glad to have the 170 gigabytes off my hard drive.
So, I know you said it's really good, but like, how good did you think it was? Because for me, I really enjoyed the story. I think I really enjoy stories that are about time manipulation. But I might be the only one that says this, but I appreciate what they tried to do with the, TV shows in between the chapters as well. I liked that, but I know a lot of people didn't.
Yeah, we're just gonna skip over that like I did with all the cutscenes. Every single cutscene and the TV episodes in between.
Okay.
We're just gonna press B. We're gonna press B, hold B maybe, it was even, and we're gonna skip those cutscenes, and that's how I felt about the story. No, because of that, it was a relatively standard shooter. I mean, the time powers were cool, but also because I had left it ages ago, I played it first, so I didn't remember many of the time powers that I was supposed to be using, so I struggled initially kind of with the fights because I wasn't using the dodge because I'd only just learnt the sprint, and so that was embedded in me to hold left bumper, not to tap it for a dodge. Like, I'd forgotten all about that. I forgot about the explosion and the time stop and all that stuff. So it was slightly difficult to get back into. Once I got back into that, I think the gameplay was good. I think the gameplay was interesting with those powers, and the different ways you use them were well thought out. It's probably a 3 out of 5 for me. But again, that lack of story could play a big part, and that's something I accept. When I wouldn't give a recommendation that it's bad based upon me not watching the story either. Like if I didn't like it, I wouldn't say people shouldn't play it, because I know I'm causing that myself by not watching the story for the most part.
Life is Strange.
Well, I had to watch that. But no, that's just a bad game.
Okay. What else have you been playing?
No, but it's okay that you can enjoy a bad game. You're allowed to enjoy a bad game. It doesn't make it not possibly a pile of trash on fire. I have also been playing Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. So I've been doing... See, and now this is going to seem bad as well. I've been doing a quick playthrough and skipping the dialogue. But I can justify this because I've been watching a streamer that I watch play this game, and they have not been skipping, so I already have all of the dialogue, like the dialogue has happened to me before.
And you did the same thing with Quantum Break before you played it, right?
I'm fairly certain I watched someone play Quantum Break ages before I played it, so I had the gist.
Alright.
That I tend to do that because a lot of games that come out on Xbox were already out on PC ages ago or whatever, so I tend to have watched a lot of the stuff before I get around to playing it. No, the humour in this is really quite good. The what they do with the names and stuff is well thought out and pretty funny. Like the cases are ridiculously creative. I can't imagine ever coming up with like how to solve the cases. Going, yep, they have to do this and do this and do this because of this logic. Like my brain can't even comprehend answering the questions, let alone coming up with them. It's crazy. I couldn't even think of one of these, let alone the 17 or so that were there. Yeah, there was like 14 cases, maybe 15 in this trilogy. It is ridiculous. I'm basically done with the game. I've got some achievements set up with saves for potential random to-do lists next couple months. If they don't come up by October, I'll just finish off the game because I don't really like saving things for a really long time. But no.
That sounds like preloading.
It is. I've preloaded, I think there's 6 achievements between 2.7 and 3 ratio. So, but I don't necessarily like holding on to things forever. Like I don't enjoy it, so once this random to-do list season's done, I'll get them regardless. Legendary 11 is next up. It's an arcade soccer game, to put it bluntly and clearly. The achievements are pretty straightforward. Play 50 games, win 25 games, score 50 goals, blah, blah, win the Africa Cup, win the Asia Cup. There's a few really grindy ones. So playing and winning 100 games is pretty grindy. Scoring 500 goals. Probably the worst one is, or at least the one that would take the most time, is getting all the stickers. So stickers are used to give you a boost in the game. Whether that's this sticker makes your midfielders run faster or have a higher defense stat or whatever. So you need to unlock all the stickers, and they're usually done by winning this cup with this team and winning this cup with this team, etc., etc. So there's 4 categories of 6, so there's 24 in the game. So I think there's 24 or 30. Now I
still have nightmares about those stickers from Shred It.
So a little bit more clear than that and a little bit easier to get. The matches themselves are pretty easy to win. You score 1 goal, you get the ball, and you stand by your sort of the line where it would go out for a corner kick in your 18-yard box, and the enemy don't come near you, the opposite team, so you just wait there with the ball for time to run out, then get the ball again and run to that same spot and wait for time to run out, and yeah, you won 1-0. Good for you.
So you're just idling it like I am.
Pretty much.
The box.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still pretty fun for an arcade soccer game, and a couple preloads ready for random to-do list. Looking forward to next month. I got 3 more coming. Don't worry, you get a chance to speak eventually, Alex. Duck Life Battle. So if you've
not Dork Life, like I read before
No,
the show.
Not
I actually
Dork
prefer the name Dork Life. That'd be a cool game. Anyway,
a bunch of nerds having a fight.
I don't know.
Get him. Get him.
No, I like Superman better than Batman. No, I like Batman better. Yeah. Anyway. I don't know. I mean, it's been a long time since I've been a dork,
Gonna banish you to the Shadow Realm.
Hey, that's legit, man. Don't make fun of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Baby Dragon. Oh no, Baby Dragon.
I have no idea what you're doing now.
It's terrible, but it's Joey Wheeler. He's got I don't know, I think it's a Boston accent.
Joe
Japanese.
Wheeler.
the Japanese kid with the Boston accent. I'm gonna use Time Lord and evolve my baby dragon to 1,000-year dragon.
Is that Joey or something?
Yes, Joey Wheeler. I said it.
Yeah, I know,
The
but
blonde,
it didn't sound familiar.
the blonde.
Yeah, straight over. All right.
The blonde second in charge.
Yep.
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 Anyway, back to Dork Life Battle. If you've ever played any of the other Duck Life games, they're Flash games, I think, on the computer. Oh, sneeze.
Bless you.
If you've ever played any of the other Duck Life games on the computer, they're like little Flash games I played as a child. This is essentially the same thing, but instead of racing, you are doing Mortal Kombat. So you're fighting to the death. So it's the same sprites, the same gameplay loop of training your stats till they're maxed out and destroying everyone in the local vicinity and then moving on to the next area. Bill Zuminati has done a really good video guide, so I would give that a watch. Took me like 3 to 4 hours to complete. Really fun little title. Just a nice, I think it's like $5 as well, so it's not too expensive. Good quick hit. Get in, get out. That's, doesn't overstay its welcome too much. So it drags on a little bit and the movement is slightly annoying walking around, but yeah, for what you pay for it and what you get out of it, I think it's worth it. I slaved away today.
It's like a weird game. I've just been watching a clip of it while you talk about it. Okay.
It's good.
Right.
I don't think I've binged a game and just sort of like just played it hardcore as much as this next one. Like all day today I just played this one title and it was hours and hours playing this game to get all the achievements just in one sitting. I don't think I've done that with a game for a very long time.
Would you say you were speedrunning this game? You got so many achievements so fast?
Yeah, they're popping like crazy. I think that might have even been a world record. I played Fallout 3 PC because it is on sale in Steam. It's like $3.50 Australian. So I bought it. I activated the games for Windows Live. Eventually, got it running. There's a few little hiccups because it was trying to do things without telling me. So it was like, oh, you haven't done the thing yet. I'm just going to close. I'll wait till you do the thing. But it didn't tell me what the thing was. So I was just like, okay, I'll just launch it again. Oh, no, haven't done the thing yet. I'm just going to close now. So it was a little bit frustrating. But yeah, got it all done. I pressed up, delete, 2, enter. Up, delete, 3, enter. Up, delete, 4, enter. So on and so forth till 72. Yep. Got the completion. The
thing is, you can't do it too fast either. Because if you have like too many in the queue,
it'll miss the ones before. So I'd enter it, I'd get the next one typed up, I'd wait for the bleep bloop from the one I just entered to happen, enter the new one, type up the next one, bleep bloop, enter, type, bleep bloop. So it was a good rhythm I had. I was also playing Realm Royale while I was doing it, so multitasking. Just don't ban me from G-Task, playing 2 games at the same time. Is that too soon? No, it's never too soon. And I'll just mention this as a quick PSA. If you haven't, for whatever reason, seen, Rise has had troubles with its gold unlocking in multiplayer. So you would finish a multiplayer match and you wouldn't receive any gold for completing it. Whether this is a permanent fix that the developers have decided to do or just a temporary fix, they've made all of the through the Xbox Store, all of the purchases of gold free. So that's their semi-premium currency. So you can just go to the store and select that I want to buy 25,000 gold for free. You probably don't need more than that if you just want the achievements. But probably doesn't hurt to sit there and click it a few times and just claim a bit of gold. You can use that to upgrade your single player abilities and to buy equipment in the multiplayer. So every little bit helps, I guess. It's like I said, it probably doesn't hurt. But yeah, that was my week. I got 6,180 Gamerscore. Much of that was easy peasy trash.
And you're on 25 out of 25 for your random
I
to-do
am,
list,
yes.
as you mentioned. So.
I announced that last week, and I haven't lost an achievement, which is good.
That's good. No offline unlocks?
No, I'm not. I'm no fug.
Yeah, he did do that.
He did do that.
On my team. Okay. All right. Well, I haven't, like you alluded to in you're talking about games there, I haven't played a whole lot this week. It's been a lot of time spent on a few games. So we probably started the week off playing Rocket League, you and I and Kiwi. And I managed to get back into Platinum in threes after having a bit of a tumble after a big night of a losing streak. But the other games that I've been playing, so I spent a lot of time in Dead Island Retro Revenge. So the reason I was playing this is because my highest ratio achievement in the random to-do list was just not achievable. I formerly had Ziggurat playing, what was it? To finish the Ziggurat with every character in the game, which just wasn't going to happen in a month. So I got it re-rolled. It actually came in much higher. The old one was 500 and something, but this achievement called Bow to Me was 778 points in random to-do list. So Dead Island Retro Revenge is like an on-rails side-scrolling beat-em-up game. The achievement for Bow to Me is for 5-starring all 24 levels in the game. So I spent all of Friday night, all of Saturday playing, and a lot of Sunday. So I reckon it probably took me 8 hours.
Yeah, that seems...
Maybe 6 to 8. Yeah, probably 6 to 8 it took me.
But you'd already finished the story at this point, right?
Yes, I'd already run through the story once.
Because I noticed you had a random to-do list achievement for completing the story, so you were marginally familiar with the controls and the levels to begin with.
Yeah, that's a very tricky achievement. I think probably 7.78 is probably around what you need to do, because you need to 5-star all 24 levels, which is a lot. The thing that makes it difficult is when you're playing in Chapter 1, there's only maybe 5 different enemy types. Chapter 2 might have 8 or 9. And then Chapter 3 has got, 12, 13 different types. And the different enemy types, certain combos don't work against them, where you'll lose a life. And not only that, there are some that conversely work really well and might throw a projectile after you perform that combo on a certain enemy, which is really crucial in playing the game and getting the 5 stars, because you use throwing that projectile to hit enemies, which instantly kills them and keeps your combo going for extra points. So there's actually a lot of bad press around about Dead Island Retro Revenge. I don't think it's all warranted. I think if you know what you're getting in for, you know, it's hard to be disappointed about the game. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up game. It costs you $2 on sale. I mean, I don't know what you think you're going to get for that. But I personally think it does all right. I think it does well for what it sets out to do. And my other random to-do list achievement that I was playing for was a game called Siberia 3. So I managed to get it for under $10 in the EB Games sale recently. I got a random to-do list achievement in it, which is about halfway through the game. I got that achievement this morning at about 7:30. Then I went to work. But the game is, it's kind of like a point and click game where you can walk around to different areas. I don't really know what you call that. A point and click adventure game, maybe. It's not like static screens, like it's kind of like a Monkey Island game, I guess. You walk around. Anyway, I've played the first 2 games on the Xbox 360, so I wanted to play this and continue the story, but I actually can't remember what happened in the first 2 games, so I'm just playing the story anyway. It's not bad. The mouth, you know when you watch a game and the mouth movements don't sync up with what's being said? And it's like the audio clip finishes and the mouth still moves for like 2 or 3 seconds. There's a lot of that in this game, but it is an indie game, so I can forgive that. That's all I really played this week that's worth mentioning. I'm on. I got 920 Gamerscore this week, and I'm on 24 for my random to-do list. So, yeah, hopefully get 25 by tomorrow night. But all right, want to quickly run us through the games that are on sale and what's happening this week?
I certainly can.
Not much to go through, is there?
No, and the worst part is it's the 30th of July out of 31 days in the month, and no notice for what games with gold will be coming out next month, which is great. That's always love when they don't tell you what games with gold are until the very final day. But we do have a sale, I guess. Would you call it a sale? It's a bunch of games on discount. It's not really a sale.
Some games that are not full price.
The reason this is fairly weak is we believe there is a winter sale coming up. For whatever reason.
That would be good. That would be good, yeah.
Yeah. They've just finished the summer sale, and now they're doing the winter sale, because I guess it's winter for us, so they're going to abuse that. From the 30th of July to the something of September, I think 19th. I want to say, but I could be wrong. September 9th. So they're having a bigger sale. Could just be this one, to be honest. Which would be pretty pathetic if this was considered their winter spotlight sale.
Yeah, I hope not.
Regardless, the only sort of easy points we found were Gnome's Garden 2 for 60% off $1.99, Tekken 7 60% off $19.99, and Super Volley Blast 30% off $6.99.
Gnome's Garden $2. I mean, that's so cheap.
Yeah,
I think I might buy it for that price.
Yeah, there are some other good games in there, but it's either the discounts aren't steep enough or they're not really easy, I guess. My recommendation for the week is Anima Gate of Memories. It was a struggle to find something to recommend, to be honest, but this is 67% off and $6.59. I really enjoyed this game. A lot of the combat felt to me like there's a game on the PlayStation 3 called Folklore. It's weird as all hell because it's a Japanese game. But
Japanese games. Okay.
Essentially, you play as two different characters. You play as a guy and a girl. This is in Folklore. This is not even in the one I actually am recommending. You play as a guy and a girl, and you defeat monsters or capture the monsters, and then you can use the monsters in combat. So
that's the one.
They have different attacks. So you might use 3 specific monsters for a combo attack of pressing X, X, X or whatever, and that'll do 3 different attacks depending on the order of the monsters you've put in the combo and what monster it is and stuff. So it is really quite an interesting game. Whilst this is not really exactly the same, the combat and the way you move feels similar to me for Anima Gate of Memories. So I've also, I think the walkthrough on True Achievements is pretty well done. There's 6 different endings. I think there's 6 different endings, but you can save. You can save and just reload that save. So you do the ending, reload your save, and move on. So it's pretty good. It's 67% off and $6.59. So, no recommendations from you, Alex.
Yeah, that's right. No recommendations this week. I couldn't find anything that looked good.
Yeah, at least nothing that really stood out. I mean, as you said, there's some good stuff in there, but nothing that is like if you don't get this, you'd be a damn fool.
Yep, that's right.
Speaking of being a damn fool, I'm pretty sure I'm going to pick up Megaton Rainfall, which I've heard is like the worst game ever. So I'm looking forward to it. It's 40% off and $9.59, but I've heard it's like worse than Life is Strange, which is tough.
Oh, hey, whoa.
Yeah, I know. That's a bit ridiculous. Nothing could be worse than that. I agree, Alex.
Whoa.
Are you going to buy anything, buddy?
No, mate. There's... Oh, okay. Oh, jeez, that is unnecessary from you there. But no, there's. I talked about it before. I might end up buying Gnome's Garden too, but apart from that, there's not that much in there for me.
Yeah. Okay, well, new games. We have Wednesday, Pilot Sports is coming out. The Tower of Beatrice, which is sometimes U-title. Solo Islands of the Heart. On Friday, we have Meow Motors. Which is...
Sure, yeah. Okay.
It's cat racing, like it's kart racing, but you're cats.
So it's like Coffin Dodgers, but you're
But
cats
you're a cat,
instead
yeah.
of old people. Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
Meow
cool.
Motors. We have...
Yeah?
Do you want to... Varanye? Is it gonna be a hard
Sure.
J, or is it...
Yeah, Varanye. Yeah, I think
Varanye.
that's probably right.
Yeah, Varanye comes out on Friday. That's by Joybits, who do the Doodle God games, but I don't know if it's similar or not. Not
I feel
sure.
like Varanye is like a female version of Kanye. Anyway.
Varanye East.
Yeah, sure. Alright. What's next?
Also on Friday, Madden NFL 20 for all you people excited for you throwing the pigskin around.
What, didn't they already have Madden 25 that was like a 25-year anniversary?
Yeah, I
What are they going to
can't
do in 5 years?
can't wait. I don't know. It's going
Madden
to be
25
great.
2. It's going to be like Final Fantasy 13 2.
I don't know. It's going to be so good. I can't wait for it. 5 years. Do you think they'll still be making Madden? Honestly, do you think they'll still be making Madden in 5 years?
I think so. Yeah.
I reckon.
I think it still sells pretty well, and they make money off the MUT, the Madden Ultimate Team. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much money they make from that. I'm sure it's a bit, but I don't know if it's anywhere near comparable to the FIFA stuff.
I don't think it will be near the FIFA stuff, but I think it's probably a lot more than the money they spend on making it.
Yeah. As Divine Menace, which is the new Kemco title and the fourth in the As Divine series, after As Divine Hearts 2, As Divine Dios, and now As Divine Menace.
Are they all available on Xbox?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
So this is the only one I don't own. So it'd be good. I'll buy this.
At least until Friday.
Yeah.
Unless you contact them to get a little code.
No, they don't.
Oh,
They're very...
come on, Kemco.
They're quite strict.
Support Real Gamerscore.
I think the one time I asked for a code, I forgot to send them the content for what I did, and I think it was a really good stream I had, but I think I forgot to send it to them, so I don't think they like me anymore because I got their game and didn't stream it according to as far as they know. Anyway, Superstar Blast is a twin stick. I assume it's a twin stick. It might just be a normal shoot 'em up. It's a shmup game. Same people that made Spencer, and it's apparently very easy. It's also the same people that made Mace, which is not easy. But
yeah, the Superstar Blast. I saw the achievement list for that, and I think one of the first comments was, "Wow, this is an really original game name or something."
yeah,
Which I thought that's a fair comment.
I think Bill's has a guide. I think it's under an hour, maybe 2 hours, but still pretty good. The Church in the Darkness also comes out Friday. I think it's a stealth game. I believe it's Australian developers.
I think you're right about that.
So there
I saw Bill's was playing it, and I said, "Well, what are your initial thoughts?" And he said, "I can't say because
we have an embargo.
embargo.
It's embargoed till August 2nd. I think I'll check. Because we have a code as well. I believe it's August 2nd. It's embargoed to 2nd of August. So after that, so come 3rd of August US time, you can ask him how it plays. But that'll be released, so it won't matter.
Yeah, I could just buy it." Yeah.
And then next Tuesday we have Metal Wolf Chaos XD, which is not director's cut. It's cut de directeur. It's French.
No, it's one of those smiley face with closed eyes.
I do that. That's my smiley face that I use all the time. It's so dumb, but it's great. And finally, Age of Wonders Planetfall, which I feel like was supposed to come out like months ago and then got delayed. It's a big, huge RPG type game, I think. I don't know. Probably not for me. Probably for Brad. Brad, you let us know how it is.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Brad. And that's everything coming out this week.
Any knobs and discos hanging about?
We do have a few. I'll see if they're in anything worth talking about. Snooker 19 has had its unobtainables removed, so that all its achievements can be earned now. The Last Door Complete Edition, which is on the Xbox, because there's a Last Door Season 2 on the Windows 10. Last Door Complete Edition on the Xbox has had its unobtainables removed, so I believe that is completable now. I'll just check that. Yes, so that can be completed. And that's it. That's Broforce has an unobtainable, so sorry all you bros out there.
Oh, bro.
The no ticket for throwing an enemy off the Sky Fortress as Indiana Brones. I thought you'd enjoy that. That's unobtainable. It's also very difficult, apparently, or at least requires a lot of time and effort.
The game or that achievement, you mean?
That achievement specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's it for knobs and discos.
Alright, so I did mention it very early in the show, but this week in the milestones is the Gymbot UK and Daniel JJ 14 week.
Yeah,
they have half the milestones between them. So I'll maybe I'll run through the first half and you can take the second half. So Gymbot UK 500 achievement win streak. Yeah, I know, but you know it's still something. It's Nibirius has won 16,000 achievements. Gymbot UK decided to come back and earn 20,000 achievements this week. Matty L22L is now in the top 5 of Virginia completed games leaderboard for simulation racing. And there was a few other simulation racing leaderboard position milestones as well.
Yeah, when you go up one spot in like the main one, you tend to go up a lot of spots in the other ones as well. So you tend to hit those milestones relatively close to each other.
Yeah, so I just picked one out that seemed the best, like top 5 in Virginia. That's pretty cool. Eliphalet 77 is now in the top 200 of the completed games leaderboard for Metroidvania.
I think he's only really started playing them this year. So I think he's finished 9 this year.
Alright. Yeah, that's good. I mean, it sounds like he's trying to, if that's the case, trying to race up the leaderboard. Hopefully he can get in the top 10, maybe even the top 1 if he's going to stick it out long enough. But the last one I'll go through is Maddie L22L, back again, top 500 of the Virginia True Achievement leaderboard. You want to go through the second half?
Yeah, sure. Where did you stop?
Kronos is now in the top 50 of the Virginia Gamerscore leaderboard.
He is. Daniel JJ14 is now in the top 100 of the England True Achievement leaderboard. Tatey has reached a new milestone of 800,000 True Achievement score. Daniel JJ14 has reached a new milestone of 1 million True Achievement score. He's also reached 500,000 gamer score, so that's probably a really good ratio there. At least, probably close to 2.
Two-ish, yeah.
I don't know how close those two were. 2 or more, probably. Gymbot has reached 700,000 gamer score. Daniel JJ14 has reached 750 games played. I hit 500 completed games with Bird Game Plus, Game of the Year 2019.
Daniel's 1.90 ratio.
Okay, yeah. So, relative. I mean, that's still super impressive.
That's very good, yeah.
Especially when I'm at like a 1.6.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking about that while I was away, and you were just higher than me.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good feeling.
I think I might be just higher than you now after I unlocked that bow to me, though.
Probably.
All right.
And Daniel JJ has also reached the top 1,000 of the Gamerscore leaderboard overall on all of True Achievements. So that's pretty good.
Yes.
He's done well for himself. Perhaps.
It's big milestone week for Daniel JJ14 especially.
I'm pretty sure they're going for some stuff. We may have a bunch more milestones next week as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems that way. Alright, so we've had a couple of people reach out and contact the show with a few things they wanted to say. So one of them was a gamer called Gamerscore Kane. They just sent me a message to my Xbox account, and initially I thought, oh, who's this? You know, it's one of those bots trying to get in touch. But had a look. No, it's a legit profile. Gamerscore Kane said, just discovered your podcast. It's brill. And then why did you stop? Now I messaged Kane back and said, well, you know, we haven't stopped, but I think maybe they meant, why did I stop being on the show for a little bit? And that was because I went and got married. So
I don't think there's a valid excuse there, buddy.
I think it's okay.
Well,
but
I got a message on Xbox Live.
Yeah?
It said, here's Johnny. I believe it's a bot.
I was going to say that sounds like a bot. Okay.
Pretty sure it's a bot.
So, Kane, I just want to say thanks for reaching out and saying you enjoy the show. We appreciate you
Just going to block this profile.
taking the time to send us a message. We also got a review this week. So, Arcona got in touch with us on Twitter to say that they'd left a review, and sure enough, our review aggregator sent that to us this week. So, Arcona says, listening to the podcast has me realising that I really need to get back into the wonders of video games. I just miss feeling like these hosts feel about games. The hosts on this lovely show have a great way of digging into games and media news, tackling some of the finer points of a game in their reviews and much more. So if you're already into video games, you feel like you belong as a listener. If you're curious about them, you'll probably turn into a gamer after one episode. I mean, games are kind of addicting. So thanks again, Arcon. I know he said thanks on Twitter, but thank you for the kind review. I mean, we do put a lot of effort into our show, and we hope that it comes across that, yes, we really do like video games.
yeah, absolutely. It's so much effort. It's unbelievable how much effort I put into the show. Me alone put in so much effort for this show. It's getting some back spasms is all I'm saying. No, it's good. We certainly wouldn't do this if we weren't enjoying this, so knowing that other people enjoy it as well it's a good feeling.
Yeah, definitely. All right, and that's all the people reaching out to us for the show this week, so we'll wrap it up. We'll put a bow on Season 1, and we'll get started with Season 2 next week, of course. But if you did want to get in touch with us, you can send us an email. The email address is hello@realgamerscore.com. You can find us on Twitter @realgamerscore. You can join us in Discord. The invite link is discord.io/realgamerscore. Patreon can be found at patreon.com/realgamerscore. You can write in a question to the show if you have something that's on your mind. We'll endeavour to answer them in the next episode after we receive them. And if you're also interested in being a guest on the show, please get in touch with me via Discord, and we can go from there. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, other podcast platforms that you listen on. You can leave us a review like Arcona did. Tell all your friends about us, retweet us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube and Patreon if you so desire. Now, Chin, if someone wants to get in touch with you, what are your contact details?
You can contact me on Twitter, Xbox Live, True Achievements, Mixer.com, or on Discord, all at ChinDocta. That's ChinDocta. Since we are coming to the end of Season 1, I've decided in the last minute that I'm going to try and get a little audio compilation of the best bits of Season 1. Get that put together, ready for 2020. Because that's about as long as it'll take me to get organised. But no. So if you have any moments you really enjoyed, send me a message with the episode and a general timestamp, and the sort of the bit that it was, so that if it'll help me get parts that the community actually enjoyed. And send me a message so that everyone doesn't already know what it is and goes, oh, I'm just going to listen to that because you said it was a good bit. And
that could go up, I guess, as a standalone episode, and we can put it on our YouTube channel as well.
It'll likely definitely be standalone, and it won't be. Probably, I'll have a lot of downtime out around PAX, so maybe October.
Yep.
I don't know. It's 2 months away, but it's not a small undertaking. Having to listen to myself. I don't think I've listened to a single episode outside of edit.
What?
Like, I don't think I've listened to an episode outside of editing or recording.
I've listened to quite a lot.
Not even the ones I wasn't on.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird, man.
That is.
So I've listened to everything up to episode 28, but it was around that time that I came across the podcast called Creepy and the No Sleep podcast.
No, none of that stuff for me.
Yeah, all scary.
Real good.
And I listen to it all the time. I love those shows, but that kind of filled up a lot of my podcasting time for the week. And I've fallen behind on other podcasts because I'm listening to that.
Yeah. Well, if people wanted to get in contact with you, how would they do that, Alex?
They can find me on Xbox, True Achievements, Twitter, and Mixer, ProfessorPluto. That's all one word. And you can find me on Twitch, ProfessorPluto1. Alright, there you go, episode 52. Thanks everyone for listening. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day or week to spend time with us. Thanks a lot.